5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us on the GHT Overland Podcast. We visit with overland travelers around the globe, learning from their travels, passing on their tips, and enjoying their inspiring stories from the road. I'm Chris.
And I'm Lisa. We're from Washougal in Washington State, known as the gateway to the Columbia River Gorge. Today's featured guest is KP and Taylor with Running from Monday. Two high school sweethearts traveling the world together. Oddly enough, KP had told Taylor that they should drive to Argentina. Of course, Taylor told him that was the stupidest thing she had ever heard.
Awesome.
Today, Taylor has a second place finish in the Rebelle Rally as the navigator in the first ever Rebelle. She's a champion for women overlanders, helping start Women Overlanding the World. Well, KP is well known for his mechanic skills within the overlanding community, along with taking flying lessons as he works on his pilot's license.
That's pretty cool. Hey, a heads up on this one. The audio is a bit rough. We just thought we'd let you know. As with all things you do for the first time, we've learned some valuable lessons. So apologies. We've cleaned it up the best we can, but admittedly, there's a few sections that are a little rough. However, the content and the tips, lessons learned that KP and Taylor share are honestly some of the best we've heard. So we think it's definitely worth listening to. So thanks for listening. Let's jump into the interview as KP and Taylor introduce themselves to you.
We had started out, we've been married for about 10 years and together longer. And
Long time.
We started out doing small trips together. We like to go camping. We like to take camper every once in a while, but usually it was just tent camping. And then we kind of started into a little more world traveling and got a little more interested in going to a little more exciting places. We backpacked in Africa, and then we realized that you don't actually need nearly as much stuff in your life. And that was about the same time we bought a 2,000 square foot house and tried to fill it with stuff. And we were like, wait a second. So, pick it up from there.
That trip to Africa just showed us, we ended up renting a truck in Namibia after backpacking Uganda, and we realized how much freedom that having your own vehicle gave us.
Okay.
And so we liked the backpacking. It was fun to really meet different people and see cool things, but that's a young man's game. It's exhausting, and it's fun. I'm glad we rode the buses with the chickens and things like that. But having your own vehicle and having all your own stuff, like even right now we're here at the Overland Rally, and four-wheel camper was really nice. It gave us a camper to sleep in. It's really hard not having our own truck. It's our home. It's everything we have, and so it's really, really nice.
Where is your truck now?
It's in Uruguay. It's in Montevideo, Uruguay.
Okay.
Stored there with some very nice Germans.
And how did you find a place to park it and store it there?
Overlander.
Yeah,
Okay.
Overlander is primo
Perfect.
when you need information
And
on
this
the
is
road.
in Maine. A lot of people use this place, so they have a website and stuff.
Okay.
Even if I think if you Google vehicle storage Uruguay, I'm sure they will show up.
So it's good, secure parking, so you're not worried about
Very
your vehicle.
secure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Cool.
Uruguay's
First people I'd seen wearing Glock hats in the whole trip. So.
Oh, okay.
very secure,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So once you guys decided overlanding was something you wanted to do, how long was it before you hit the road?
We took about 18 months to plan the trip or so. We decided in February of 2015, and then by October 2016, we'd set a date for ourselves. And since we named ourselves Running from Monday, we knew it had to be a Monday that we left.
Clearly.
And we wanted about a week after we quit our jobs, and after a week we were on the road. So
Okay.
October 10th, 2016, we left.
Sweet.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the name of Running from Monday? That's
Well,
super great.
I'm not sure. In the last couple months, you're really lousy at work because you basically already quit. So pretty much just reading through Desk to Glory's blog and thinking about stuff and ordering tires on Amazon and things. And I think it just came out. I just popped into my head. We were trying to come up with a name, and I don't really know where it came from,
Yeah,
to be honest.
we kept trying to come up with, we're going south, or it's something about going to Argentina, or on
but we
the
didn't want
road,
something
and-
specific because to us, it's not about the trip. It's about changing our lives.
Yep.
Because our real reason is people would ask us to do something and we didn't have time. We never had time to do stuff, and we were constantly busy. And
you're in the constant cycle of I'm working so I can have more time, but then you're working more because you need to do that in order to have more time, and it's just that perpetual cycle where you never get out of it. You never end up having more time. So
we wanted something that reflected more just a change in the way we were looking at the world and the way we wanted to approach our lives than something trip specific.
Yeah,
because to us, like I said, it's not about what we're doing so much as just making that major shift in our way of thinking to approach our lives.
Okay.
So we liked running for Monday just because that Monday sort of signifies the end of the weekend to everyone. Everyone hates Mondays, famously Garfield. So it worked out really well. I like the name. A lot of people do. It gets a lot of attention even just on the shirts and stuff. Nobody knows who we are, but they think it's a great saying.
Totally catchy.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to your vehicle a little bit. Tell us about your current vehicle and kind of how you've got it set up.
Okay. We have a 2005 Chevy Silverado. It's a regular cab, long bed. It's 3/4 ton. It's 4-wheel drive, of course. Although, to be honest, you don't need that, but it's fine. we make use of it.
Yes.
I've actually owned the truck since I was 18. I bought it brand new. Has over 200,000 miles on it now. And it's the 6-liter gas engine. It has about a 2-inch lift and 488 gears, Detroit in the rear. We have Viair onboard air, dual batteries in the truck, and then as well, we actually have 3 battery systems. One for the house battery in the camper. The truck has duals to run the lights and the winch, the radios, and the air.
and we have a 4-wheel camper on the back of the truck, so that's our primary living space.
Yeah,
so
the living space is the 4-wheel camper. We have a Grand Beat for the long bed, just a regular slide-in. And then I built a custom aluminum bed, so it's kind of like a utility bed a little bit, ultra light, to store all our tools and outdoor gear and stuff like that, so we don't have to put it inside the camper. So my high lift jack and shovel and all our tools and spare parts and fluids and stuff. We have really a little shop. I mean, I have 2 torque wrenches with me.
Yeah.
Okay. So have you learned like all those different tools or parts that you need to have with you so that you carry extra stuff and you're not relying on being able to find it there or wherever you are?
I would say partly because I've owned the truck so long, I had a pretty good idea.
Yeah,
and
so
I've always
helps.
done my own mechanical work. Even when the truck was under warranty, I would just fix it myself because it was easier and faster.
Much faster.
Yeah. And so, until it needed a transmission rebuild, and then GM did that. But yeah, I think we have a pretty good idea of what we need. I think a lot of people, one of my big caveat or sort of pet peeves is going way overweight. And I think a lot of people take a ton of tools and parts in anticipation that something will break, and that's sort of a self-fulfilling cycle. If you take 1,000 pounds of parts, stuff will break. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't know how many people I've heard tell me I needed to take extra axles.
Oh, geez.
And I'm like, do you know what an axle in a 3/4 ton Chevy weighs? Like, it's big, and it's not going to break. You know? And a drive line, things like that, and you can't take stuff like
all
that's
that.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Okay.
So we try and keep the basics, belts and stuff like that.
Perfect. What is that one piece of gear that you've got with you, either on or in your vehicle, that you think is absolutely indispensable?
Refrigerator.
Refrigerator.
Yeah, that's a
what do
big
you
one.
use?
We have an Isotherm.
Okay.
So because we have the camper, so it's a stand-up. It's 12 volt only. It's not the dual, which is fine because 12 volt power is the easiest to get hold of.
What size is it?
It's an 85 liter.
Okay. And does that do both refrigeration and freezing?
Mm-hmm.
And is that like
Real
key
tiny
for
freezer.
you?
Yeah, it is. It's really nice because a lot of times when you buy anything fresh, as far as meat goes, it's going to last a day. Like,
Okay.
you can't rely on it to last very long. So for us, we're meat eaters. So it's
Okay.
really easy to do a
have
trip when
22.
you're a vegetarian because, man, you can find the best fruits and vegetables and they last.
Yeah.
But if you buy meat, a lot of times it's only going to last you a day. So we'll freeze like some burger or sausage or something like that. And then we've always got a tiny little ice tray. So we
Okay.
are like the stars of the camp because we've always got an ice
If you want to
tray.
make friends in camp, rock into camp and then start shaking your cocktail shaker.
Oh,
And
man.
people will come over. They will flock to your.
Yep, all of a sudden you are real popular.
That's
Yep.
great.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. And is that the refrigerator that came with the four-wheel camper?
No.
Or is that some?
Not at the time. Yeah, we
Yeah.
actually bought that one ourselves and put that in as an option, and then right after they started carrying that one.
Yeah.
So now it's available.
Okay, so anything that you guys packed with you originally that you ended up like, I totally didn't need this.
A lot of things. But.
Yeah, we actually we have an outdoor shower as part of the setup on the four-wheel camper, and so I was really concerned about having one of those little pop-up privacy tents
Yep.
so that you could shower outside in privacy.
'Cause we have a little cassette toilet too. So
Oh yeah, we have
put
a little
both in
cassette
that.
toilet. Yeah. So I was like, oh, we're definitely going to need this. So we researched and tried to find one, and they're really expensive for a good one and super cheap for the little pop-up ones. And so we finally landed on like a $175 pop-up tent, and we used it
Literally
maybe
one time.
once. Yeah,
Oh,
during the
really?
Baja 1000, we used it when we had a bunch of guys camping with us, and we all just used it as our little bathroom area because it was a really open spot where we camped. But other than that, I mean, you don't care about it anymore. Within the first month, you're like, oh, I can just shower out here. It's no big deal. You're like half naked out there with the locals just showering. I mean, it's just not. It's just it's funny what we think is going to be really.
And we
like,
still
important.
carried that stupid thing with us to Colombia.
Oh yeah,
And it wasn't that heavy, but it was big. It took a lot of
so
space.
much space. Yeah.
And finally, we just gave it away. We were just like, please take this.
We left it at an Overlander camp in Colombia, yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. So what are 2 or 3 top destinations you've been to, and what made them special for you?
Number one's probably Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just Mexico in general, Baja, it really is everything everyone says it is.
Yeah.
It's a magical place of magic tacos.
It's everything people say it is except unsafe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I think that's probably part of the reason Mexico is so special, because people have that expectation it's going to be scary and hard and you're going to be always on edge. And then you get there and you realize, no, these are just people. And we've got this weird media perception now that everything is unsafe because it's Mexico. And it is unsafe to a certain extent for the locals. I mean, there's definitely violence and there's definitely problems, but what we experience as travelers is nothing like that. We have nothing but warmth from these people, and they're so happy to have us visiting. And so it's a really special place, and just the food, tacos all day.
Oh, Mexico.
yeah.
The food in Mexico is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
It changes with each region, and it's embarrassing cheap.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah. So
yeah. So
That's awesome. Anything else besides Mexico that really stood out for you?
you have any specific places?
I would say, well, we spent a lot of time in Ecuador, actually. We had planned to spend maybe 3 weeks in Ecuador, because it's a small country, especially being between Colombia and Peru. But we were there for...
Instead, we spent 3 weeks on one beach.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Never
awesome.
Yeah, we were there for 2 months, and it was just... after being in Central America, where everything's kind of the same, you've got kind of jungle and beach, and that's a little bit of desert, and that's pretty much it. And then you get to Ecuador, after Colombia, you get to Ecuador, and it's like you've got mountains, you've got Cotopaxi and Cayambe, and then you've got beaches and jungle and Amazon. I mean, you could have any type of landscape that you want, and it's small, so it's a couple hours, and there's good roads, and
Gas
and
is $1.40 a
cheap.
gallon.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So, and the people are lovely too, and the food's actually really good there too. So, man, yeah, it's a wonderful country as well.
And then
yeah.
like the Highlands of Peru, just anywhere. Like you just
Okay.
go to Peru and drive somewhere,
Oh my
and it's
gosh,
all
yeah.
just breathtakingly beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, just outrageous.
A lot of places we figured, you can do this backpacking, but Peru's one of those countries you want to have
You're
a
gonna
car.
miss.
Okay.
You're gonna miss things. So
Yeah,
you can go so many cool places in Peru with the car.
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't need like a big, fancy, four-wheel drive something?
No,
You're
I
good?
would say you would be pretty happy on a trip like this in a two-wheel drive van with a rear-wheel drive with good tires and a little decent clearance.
Okay.
And take some max tracks.
Okay.
And that's about it. And a compressor, just because the roads are rough. So you don't necessarily need to air down for off-road reasons, but just smooth things out.
To smooth it out for the road.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Tell us about your kitchen setup and anything you would change about it.
We have a little 2-burner propane stove inside the camper.
Built in.
Built in.
Yeah.
We've got a little sink as well. We've got hot water, which a lot of people don't, and we love it. We love having hot water. I mean,
It's so nice if you're going to do the dishes and it's 25 degrees outside.
man, yeah. So I think we just recently saw one of the campers had a way to do an outdoor kind of kitchen setup too, and that would be nice, especially when it's really hot, having to cook inside,
Okay.
or when it's really cold and you have to close up the windows. Then you get a ton of like exhaust air, or you need to exhaust the air out of it because otherwise it gets super
The
smoky
condensation.
inside.
We
Yeah,
Cook
and
with
it-
a lot of spicy stuff. So
Yeah,
it's
oh my
pretty-
gosh, yeah.
It gets pretty rough in there.
yeah, it's true. If I'm cooking with jalapenos or
But
cayenne pepper,
we have a good exhaust fan, so it's not
Yeah,
a big deal.
but-
yeah, the ability to cook outside would be nice.
It would be nice,
We
yeah.
considered it, but it would have been meant an extra gear. So
yeah.
it wasn't really. I think. Yeah,
I'm really happy with our
we're
kitchen
pretty
setup.
happy with it.
Yeah,
It's
so-
nice. More counter space.
Cool.
Okay.
What's
Always.
Magic counter
a
space.
favorite recipe for you guys?
Oh man, I do breakfast burritos probably once a week.
Yeah.
And that's just pretty much, I start with bacon. Because you can find bacon most places. It's not going to be
It's
as
not very
good,
good.
but
Yeah.
but it's worth it. You can do it. And I'd start with bacon, and then throw potatoes and onion and peppers, and if I can find jalapeno, I'll throw it in there, and paprika and cayenne and
Just
chili
whatever we
powder,
find.
garlic powder, everything, and then scramble up some eggs, and we throw those in tortillas, and yeah, it's awesome.
Okay.
It's our
I've been doing
go-to.
huevos rancheros lately.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So,
I
yeah,
make
I
some
think-
pretty good butter chicken too.
The butter chicken is the tip top.
That's my special recipe.
Awesome.
Yeah. So.
Okay, cool. How are you guys doing laundry on the road?
You pay someone to do it.
Yeah, we do.
Laundry mats, or do you find like a...
Find a nice little old lady at a lavanderia and
Yeah,
give her $10 or $5.
I bought these buckets, these collapsible buckets off Amazon before we
Okay.
left because I was like, oh man, I'm going to have to do laundry by hand. And then it was like the first time I had to do laundry. We found a little place in Baja, a little lady that was doing laundry on the side of the road. And it was like, I don't know, it's like $2 to have her do like a full load of laundry. So, and
Yeah.
they fold it and they're so happy that you're using their services. So
So you're helping
Yeah.
support that local community at the same time.
Yeah,
we like to
yeah,
think
you
of
know,
it
it's
as
a
that
business.
and not
I mean,
just
it's a
being lazy.
business. Well, yeah. There's
But
that
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, no, it's actually been surprisingly easy. There's almost always services around.
it is hard
so.
to find like a laundromat, like where you do it yourself.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
We found one in Lima, which we really liked because we do like. It's nice to have people do our laundry, but we have had things disappear. I don't think that they're getting stolen. I just think that they're getting lost.
Yeah,
You know.
Yeah.
I can
So
imagine.
it's nice to not lose things.
Yeah, when you don't have very
When
much.
you don't have a
Yeah.
lot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I only have 3 T-shirts, and if I lose one,
Yeah,
Down to 2.
down to
yeah.
2.
Okay. So hygiene. How do you do? Do you have a shower set up? So showering, toilet. How is that working for you on the road?
Good. We have an indoor shower and an outdoor shower in our camper. The indoor shower is a little of a pain to set up. We don't use it often, but we're glad to have it for when we've been wild camping and it's been cold.
Yeah.
Outdoor shower we used a lot, especially on the beaches when it's warm, because we still have hot water, so it's
Yeah.
fine outside. But realistically, we don't actually shower that often. 2 to 3 times a week.
Once you get on the road, and you start training your body to not need to shower as often. I mean, we're not meant to shower every day. That's just kind of
Yeah.
a thing that we do in Western society. But now we've kind of gotten
Great,
to the
now
point
we
where
sound like
I know. So,
we're
oh
not
my
idiots.
God, but
We
no.
don't shower. We only shower a couple times a week, and then a lot of times we'll be at a campsite with a shower, or we stay in hotel like parking lots a lot and use their showers, stuff
Okay.
like that.
Yeah.
Um,
And
yeah.
same with bathrooms. Yeah, we actually have a little cassette toilet on board that we can use, and we do fairly often. But usually you're camped somewhere where you're
Yeah.
able to use.
We have a great
Okay.
picture on the Silverado Uni where we just set the toilet out on the salt. Because there's nothing there. There's no one
Yep.
around. There is no such thing as privacy.
Yeah.
Because there's no one there.
Yeah.
And so there's just this great picture of our little toilet just sitting, just totally
With just
Perfect.
miles
surrounded
of
by nothing and
salt
salt.
around. Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. Great. Anything you change about your current setup?
Side entry.
Yeah.
We have a standard slide-in camper, and it's really nice. It's really comfortable, but it's like living in a hallway. So whenever you need to go somewhere else, the other one has to move. Like if you have to go in and out, Taylor's cooking, or I'm doing dishes, and one of us wants to go outside, you have to kind of squeeze past each other. So if we were to build another rig, we'd look pretty hard into doing something with a flatbed camper, or building something ourselves that has side entry.
Like something that you've just got side entry, or both the rear and the side?
No, just a
Just
side.
side.
Just a side.
Because
Okay.
if you've got the single exit and you've got the side entry, then you are allowed to have like the
can split
back
it
is
up.
like your dining space and stuff.
Okay.
It gives you more chance to have windows too. We're a little bit, we don't have as many windows in the camper as we'd like. That would
Okay.
be real nice. So, yeah.
Okay. What's been your number one biggest challenge you've had to overcome on the road?
Anything off the top of your head?
Other than trying to get along with each other.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good one. We, in your standard 9-to-5 life, you see your spouse or your partner a few hours a day because you go away and you go to work and you guys have separate lives. You go and you do other things.
Well, we kind of did.
Yeah, we worked at the same place, so that was a little different. But when you get on the road, you are together.
But you're in a vehicle, right? You're in a confined space for
We're
a
in
lot of
You're
time.
24/7 together. I mean, it's an adjustment.
I think the biggest thing Taylor realized is that we don't have anything to talk about after a while. You don't have a story to tell each other about what happened in your day. Because you're like, remember when that donkey had a goat on it and it was in the back of a truck? And like, yeah, I was there.
Yeah, I was there for that.
I took the picture, And so we actually, first time it happened, we got in a huge fight in Baja. Like
on
in
the
the middle,
street,
like on the
in
street.
Todos Santos. I don't even remember what we were fighting about, but
I'm sure it was really important. And,
very important.
And we just were like, well, screw you, then I'm out. And we just went to different restaurants. We went to different bars.
Okay.
And then we accidentally bumped into each other later at the same bar, and that was really fun. Then we had stories to talk about our night.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And then we kind of realized, hey, this could be a thing that we do. So every once in a while, we'll just be like, I think I just need a break. And so we'll go and we'll have separate meals, or we'll go on separate tours, or we've actually stopped doing museums together. We just are like, we walk into a museum and it's like, okay. You go your way, I'll go mine, and I'll meet you down at this coffee shop at the end. Yeah. So
those are really good tips for other couples that are traveling. You've got to find, would it be your recommendation that they find different things to do?
I think so.
Separately, so you've got a little bit of
story to tell
elbow room?
I think so, yeah. And maybe it's not necessary for all couples. I know a few on the road that don't feel like they ever need that, but I really do feel like it's really healthy because that's just the normal way to have a relationship. You do spend time apart, and so I think it is healthy to have a little bit of separation and then to have things to talk about. It really is helpful.
I slept in the cab of the pickup once.
Yeah.
We were fighting. Yeah, remember we were in Ecuador and I slept in the cab. Yeah, it was really uncomfortable. So.
Yeah, I could totally see myself doing that.
Yeah, because you don't have. It's not like you have extra. You can't go anywhere like that. Yeah. So.
It's not like I can say you're sleeping on the couch tonight.
Yeah,
because...
that's the closest thing we have to a couch.
Yep.
That's great. Yep. So tell us about your process for planning your trip, anything that you've come up with, either if it's on a daily basis, weekly basis, or before you were ready to leave originally. What worked for you, or what tips would you have for our listeners?
We took our, a Google Maps, the one that you can add a bunch of points to and then kind of create a route. So we just kind of, as we were reading people's blogs and we were talking to people on the road, they would say, hey, visit this spot. And we would say, okay, great. So we would add that point to our map. So we'd never really made a specific route.
But we had all these points of interest on a map because we've had it happen several times where we're just cruising along and then we look and we realized we passed the thing we wanted to see because we didn't realize it was there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we drove right past Overlander Oasis.
Yeah, that was a bummer. We didn't make it all the way to Oaxaca.
So Taylor may whenever we're talking to someone on the road, to a local or another traveler, and they're telling us where to go, Taylor's punching it into her phone, and then we put it on this Google map with all these interest points. And we hit, what do you think, 25% of them?
Probably, but at least at this point now we go, oh, okay, well this one's a little off of where we wanted to go today, so we'll
that's
skip
a really
this.
good.
But it's been really cool because it's kind of, you're just playing like a huge game of connect the dots. You just kind of bounce around to these points, and it's really awesome we meet a lot of travelers who are going, we're heading south and they're going north. So we can swap those things.
Oh,
so we can say, hey,
this
is a not to miss place and you're only 2 days away from it. And they'll say the same thing. Oh, when you get to here, you have to do this and you have to talk to this guy.
Yeah, order the empanadas from Juan.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And how do you run across those other travelers? Are you running into them at campsites or hostels or
campsites, hostels? Actually, camping in hostels has been fun because you get to meet different people. But
you meet different people.
Campsites, hostels, the road, gas stations.
We talk about there's certain areas that are kind of bottlenecks where you'll run into only overlanders all the time.
Panama City because everybody's getting ready to ship. We met 3 groups of friends that we never had met before. We met all pretty much on the same day or around that time because we were all shipping.
Okay.
And now we're super good friends, hang out all the time.
Yeah.
Well, as much as we can.
Yeah, on the road.
On the road, yeah.
But Salar de Uyuni and the Lagunas route is another
like
one
Uyuni's
in Bolivia.
Kind of a bottleneck because everybody does the Lagunas route. Everybody goes to the Salar. There's only one route.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you kind of, Uyuni's a bit of a bottleneck. Everybody camps in the train graveyard, so just kind of hang out for a little while. You'll meet some people.
The train graveyard, what is that?
There's like a scrapyard for old steam trains from the mining days.
Is it like super cool, or is it just a pile
super
of
cool.
Just imagine how cool it is. It's that cool.
Okay,
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
that would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So and you just camp there among all these like old steam locomotives that are just scrapped.
That's great.
And it's actually super clean, and there wasn't any garbage or anything.
No. Yeah, there's tour groups between about like 10 and 3, so it gets crazy, but
about 10
before
o'clock.
10 in the morning and after 3 in the afternoon and like sunset, it's gorgeous and there's nobody there.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Cool.
Nobody there but Overlanders.
So border crossings, what tips do you have for preparing for them? And any tips you've got for our listeners? Because you know that most people are going to be, as they start their trip, totally kind of freaked out about doing border crossings. So what have been some of your tips or things that you've figured out?
Again, iOverlander and just the internet is such a good resource now. There are a couple different blogs that detailed every step that they did going through the borders. South American borders have been pretty easy. Central American borders are not.
They are.
They're not hard, but they're just complicated. And every time you get there, it's like you're the first person that's ever tried to cross the border and nobody knows what's going on. So it's kind of up to you to know. But with the resources of the internet, we just research that border ahead of time, go to iOverlander, see what people said, follow a couple blogs, see what they said. And I think Sumo Goes South were the ones they had a really good.
Yeah, and now I think people have gone away a little bit from like step-by-steps on their blogs because on iOverlander they've got it all step-by-step.
And it's up to date for what's going on.
Yeah.
Exactly,
And
so it's the most recent.
We print out all the copies ahead of time, stuff like that. We know exactly what we need.
Yeah.
Basically, we don't even really need Spanish. We just walk up and we just hand them the papers, and they go, and they look at them and they go, "Oh, these are right." And
We crossed, when we were storing our truck in Costa Rica, we had made that decision while we were in Guatemala, and we only had about 3 weeks to get there. And so we had to cross 5 borders in less than 3 weeks. And so we just did, when we were in Antigua, we went and we made a list because we went on Overlander and said, okay, we know we're going to need 6 copies of your passport, and then we're going to need 6 copies of mine, and we're going to need 20 copies of the title because everybody's going to want a copy of that. And so we were able to make a list, and we got all of our copies made for the next 5 borders coming up.
Okay.
So, and I just have a folder that I keep all those in and organized, and so it's pretty simple if you kind of take it step by step and just go, okay, these are the things I'm going to need, because they're mostly going to repeat it each
And
border.
now it's easy, especially in South America. It's really it's all pretty much the same, pretty structured, and we're just super. We're so used to it now.
We
we're
used
really
to
still
get so like
worked up
just
about
kind
a
of
border
worked up,
crossing.
and we'd be like, the day before we'd be going through all of our papers, we'd be like, oh man, this is
Now
gonna
we're
be...
like rolling up to the border, and I'm like, hey, did you read the iOverlander on this?
Oh, we're like,
I
oh
don't know.
yeah, oh I forgot we're crossing this border today. Oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
And how does insurance work? Like, is there a place that you go to get insurance for that country?
It varies very widely by country. Many countries don't require it. A lot of times, if they don't require it, it's almost impossible to buy it. It just varies a lot. Some you can buy from a little old lady at like a booth right outside the front. Like in Nicaragua, we bought from some lady at like a card table.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
At the border,
And,
I hope you got a picture of that.
Probably not.
Honestly, we don't even think of stuff like that.
Yeah,
because it's just so day to day. Yeah, that's funny.
And then for South America, we were lucky. In Bolivia, there was a company that offered insurance for everywhere south. So, I mean, Chile, Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, Brazil, everything. So we're totally insured now. They $250 for 18 months,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, for all those countries.
Sweet.
Yeah,
That's really great.
But it varies really widely.
And that's all, again, that's all on iOverlander.
Yep.
It's usually marked as a separate, they've even got a little category for that for your insurance things. So, yeah.
Okay. Any specific safety planning you do or tips you can provide our listeners on safety and security on the road?
So you'd think that I'm actually sort of embarrassed when I think about it, because every once in a while I'll get like the hair on the back of my neck and I'm like, what's my plan? I don't have a plan. We don't have a plan. For like security as far as people, that sort of thing, getting robbed or something, we just lock our door. We do have, and we've heard a lot of people say this, a really hard rule. If either one of us doesn't like a campsite, we just get a weird feeling, we just find another campsite. So.
Yeah, no
keep
questions
rolling.
asked.
Or an area, anything like that, parking spot. We try never to leave the truck out of our sight unless it's being guarded by someone else, just for smash and grab type stuff like that. Because I think that's your real concern. I mean, but then the real security stuff is mostly just don't drive at night.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it doesn't have anything to do with getting robbed. It's just that there's stuff in the road, or there is no road, and people don't use their lights, and it's just...
Oh, really?
Yeah. Seriously, we drove at night
handy,
in Colombia because it was just worked out that way. We were trying to get to
we couldn't find a camp.
It was pouring rain. We were in the mountains on these twisty, nasty Colombian roads that literally some of the highway, and it's on a highway, but there are parts that are like sloughing off the mountain.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's like a cone or something to go around it. And then all the motorcycles aren't using their lights. It's pouring rain and it's night.
Okay, so again, we apologize for the audio quality. We definitely learned what not to do on a live recording. Aside from that, the content Taylor and KP provided was great. So thank you, Taylor and KP. That was awesome. They both hit a nerve for me as they explained the perpetual cycle of working to gain more time, which is an illusion we all have, and you never gain more time. How absolute true is that in our lives?
Well, we end up chasing our tails.
It's disgusting.
It is.
Yeah. So as I think it was KP that said, it was really about changing their lives on this trip. And I think that was really smart.
It makes a big impact.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Just getting out of the frickin' rat race.
There you
And
go.
enjoying life. I think, yeah. I mean, that's at least what I'm thinking right now. But I think they really hit the nail on the head. And, yeah, they're just super accurate for probably way too many of us.
Well, it just sounds like they have so much less stress.
But, I mean, everybody, no matter whether you're overlanding on a regular basis or chilling in the Cancuns or whatever it is, you still have stresses in life. I mean, there's nothing that's perfect, but...
So our interview with KP and Taylor with Running from Monday is our longer format interview. So we split these into 2 episodes for your downloading pleasure. Don't worry, new episodes are released each Thursday. In next week's episode, we talk about border crossings, navigation, and communication, vehicle maintenance and repair, plus all the finer details of KP and Taylor's overall setup. It's a good idea to visit the show notes page on our website at ghteoverland.com. Click on podcasts, then select the Running from Monday episode. All the details and helpful links in this episode are already there for you.
Be sure to send your questions, suggestions, and feedback to ghteoverlandpodcast@gmail.com. If you have an Amazon Echo, be sure to tell Alexa, play the GHT Overland podcast. And just so you know, you can also add the GHT Overland skill to your news briefings. We post about a 1 to 2 minute little segment of each episode in there, so you get a quick little snippet of each interview.
Sneak peek.
There you go.
Thank you, and we will see you next Thursday over on part 2. Bye.